Assalamu alaikum everyone and hello. Welcome to another amazing episode. My name is Maria and I'm Vice Principal at Rehan School Online Academy and also a podcaster. Today we have a very special guest with us and his name is Kirk Hazlett. Sir is a professor of communication, a member of PRSA boards and has decades of experience in education and public relations. So, thank you so much, sir, for your precious time. And this interview is live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So, without wasting time, let's welcome our guest. Hello, sir, Kirk Hazlett. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you for coming and your precious time too.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to sharing some ideas and experiences with your listeners and viewers.
Yes, of course. First of all, please, sir, introduce yourself for our audience.
Okay, well, I'll try to make it as short as I can. I'm Kirk Hazlett, and my whole life after graduating from college has been in public relations in some way. And I tell my students so many times, I didn't know in the very beginning that what I was doing. My first degree was in British literature. I did not study public relations. So anyway, um, I decided to get a second degree, which I encourage students to do. And I got a business degree and needed to take an elective course, anything that I wanted to. And you always look for something very easy. So I looked in and I found a course and it was called Introduction to Public Relations. And I read the description and I said, this is very good. This is easy. I can do this. So I signed up for the course, got the book, started reading, and I go, oh my goodness, that's what I've been doing for almost 6 years before in the Air Force. I didn't know that's what it was called. So the point is, I discovered just by taking a course for a degree what I really wanted to do. I made that my focus, left the Air Force, went to work for the United States Army as a civilian, as a public affairs, public relations intern. It was a paid position, which is good. And they gave me all of the training that I needed in this. And that's where I started my career. So started there, worked for the government, the Army, for about maybe for 4 or 5 years, decided enough of that, went to the private sector, went to work for a technology company, discovered that I don't like technology, so that didn't work. Then I went to work for a nonprofit organization, a service organization, and that was me. That was where I spent the rest of my career, basically, was in nonprofit organizations. And here in the United States, continental United States, I also was in Hawaii for a couple of years. But the point here is you have to discover what you want to do. And I found it. So I worked in PR for probably 25, 30 years. Then I decided, okay, that's been fun. What else can we do? A friend called me from a university in Boston, Massachusetts, and said, you're always over here talking to our students. Would you be interested in teaching? And I said, but yes. And, and that's how that started. I interviewed and was hired to teach a graduate public relations course. I went home and said, that was very interesting. How lucky am I? My telephone rang. I answered the telephone, and it was a friend from another university. Would you be interested in teaching for it? So suddenly I found myself at one time I was teaching at 4 different universities at the same time, part-time. But it was, I knew I was home, if you will. And that's where I spent the last 20 years, 25 years, is teaching students what I learned back in the earlier days, and in helping them find their path, helping them find what they want to do. And sometimes they study all of my public relations courses. And then one last story. I had a student, we went to a meeting, a public relations meeting, had the presidents of 3 different public relations agencies talking about what they do, what they expect from their workers, and that. When we finished the meeting, we were walking out, and just one student turned to me and says, "I need to talk to you." And I said, "What?" "I don't want to do this public relations stuff anymore." "Okay, what are you interested in?" She said, "My major is communication, public relations. My minor is social work." I said, "Do you like social work?" "Yes, I do." "Make that your major, make that your life." 20 years later, she is the happiest person I know, working in a hospital in Boston in social work, what she loves doing. So, yeah, you may think you know where you're going. Talk to people, get advice, and go where your heart tells you you want to be. And that's where I am today. My heart says I want to be in the classroom, sharing experience, sharing ideas, and helping other people find a path.
You are doing fantastic job, sir.
I'm
Sir,
sorry.
what? Yes, you are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. What inspired you to become an educator in communication and public relations?
Well, it's very, very interesting. I talked about when I started my career. I didn't mention I joined the Air Force, United States Air Force, because I graduated in 1968, and there was something going on over in Asia called the Vietnam War. And so I joined the Air Force, thought that if I join them, I won't have to go to Vietnam because I don't know how to fly an airplane. I was called for an interview during basic training to teach English as a second language. And it sounded very, very interesting. And so I said, I'd be interested. Then I said, oh, by the way, where will I be teaching English? Where you're going to Vietnam? So I did. I spent 2 years in Vietnam teaching English as a second language. But I realized, remember back in then, how I felt in the classroom helping students master conversational English, but helping them get past the difficulties. So education has always been something I love doing. And I never thought about it when I left the Air Force and started in the public relations thing. I remember thinking one time, when I get to a certain age, I would like to be in the classroom teaching again. Well, you move forward about 40 years, and I realized one day, I'm doing what I said I wanted to be doing. So loved what I was doing by accident, did it for a while, went away from it for a while, came back to it. And now, yeah, I'm home once again.
And thank you, sir, for your amazing answer. Sir, has your teaching philosophy evolved over the years?
Not yes and no. I mean, my philosophy from day one is give the student exactly what he or she needs to succeed, to get a successful start in this field. Now, and what I teach, the courses I teach are writing for public relations case studies, all of the things that we in the public relations field have to do. So that part hasn't changed. What I've recognized, and this goes back to talking about the student who said, I don't want to do this public relations stuff, that no, not everybody wants to go down this path. So be open to it. If they indicate that they are not really interested in this, they're just taking this because it looked easy and they wanted a good grade somewhere, that's okay. Not everybody wants to do this. But everything else has been pretty much the same thing. It's just recognizing, and I know this from just experience, how things change. When I started in public relations, this amazing machine came along that allowed you to take a piece of paper and put it into the machine and dial a telephone number and send that message over the telephone line to someone. The facsimile machine, the fax machine. That was brand new when I started. Today, we don't think about it. Hey, we have our telephone. We can talk with anybody anywhere. Social media lets us, just as we're doing today,
Yes.
on two different sides of the globe talking to each other at the same time. So it's a changing field. Nothing
Yes.
stays the same. Try to stay ahead of the game.
Yes. What is most rewarding part of teaching communication to students?
I'm sorry, ask one more time.
Yes, what I am asking you that what is most rewarding part of teaching communication to students?
For me, the most rewarding thing is honestly is seeing that light come on in their eyes and they say, "Oh yeah, this is what I want to do. I like this." That's fantastic. And then I follow up with them to watch over the. Uh, uh, One more quick story here is I had one student come into my public relations class the first day, and I was talking about getting getting into the public relations field and start working for somebody. She says, "I don't want to work for anybody." Okay, good luck. Well, now we're talking. That was easily 20 years ago. Today, she is a very successful, nationally recognized public relations leader. So, yeah, it happens. And I love that. I love seeing her stories about here's something that we are doing for a client of that. That's so rewarding. It says, yes, maybe I wasn't the only reason that they're succeeding, but at least I played a little bit of a part in helping them get started. So I love hearing the good stories and when necessary, the bad stories and helping them through rough spots in their own careers.
That's amazing. How do you define effective communication in today's digital world?
How do we define
Effective effective communication in today's digital world.
effective communication? It hasn't changed. It's called listening. Listen to what people are saying, listen to what the public is saying, listen to what your client is saying, listen to what anybody is saying. And if you see an opportunity to help them, do it. But you have to listen. You have to accept that maybe they don't agree with you. That's okay. But help them find what they need so that they can be happy, successful, or whatever it may be. But again, it's a lot of other things you have to do here. But starting off is listening and understanding.
Yes, thank you for your answer, sir. What role does ethics play in successful communication and PR?
That is a very, very good question. Ethics is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to act the right way, do the right thing for the right reason. You can't play games, if you will. You have to understand people are watching you. People and people, the public is deciding whether or not you are a good person, your organization is a good organization, or whatever it may be. Ethics is absolutely non negotiable. It's got to be there. I love it when I walk into an organization and I see on their wall in their main entrance their ethical beliefs. That tells me that they understand it. Yes, not everybody is going to be perfect at that, but at least you're making it clear to your employees, to your customers, to your potential customers that you're here to do the right thing for the right reason.
That's great. I totally agree with you. Now, please tell me what advice would you give to someone entering PR industry today?
I, I think that if you're interested, is look at it. And, I'll start off with students because that's where we're more talking about here. I tell my students, yeah, you study the courses and it sounds nice and this, do internships. At my one last college where I was a permanent professor, um, we required one internship. It was mandatory. You had to take one. I told students, you're required to do one internship. You do one internship, you meet the requirements. Do internships, I'll remember your name. Do 3 internships, I'll speak to you in the hallway. 4 internships, I'll buy you lunch. 5 internships, I'll introduce you to your new boss. And so many of my students minimum is 2. Most of them would walk out with 3 internships, one in a public relations agency, one in a nonprofit organization, one in technology or whatever it might be, to see which one of these feels the best for me. And then, as I said, then this is speaking from experience. As I said, when I left the government, I went to technology because it sounded excited. This was the mid 1980s, 1984. Technology was hot, hot, hot. I said, gee, I need to be there. I discovered about 2 days into my job, I don't like this stuff. Yes, it's interesting, but it doesn't make me excited. So I wish I had had internships that would introduce me to different things here. So it's it's an ongoing process.
Thank you for this amazing answer. I think it's a great idea. How should communicators approach global crises or sensitive geopolitical issues?
You have to decide that's a very, very good question. And it's something that we're literally having to deal with every day these days. Is first is determine, does this issue impact your organization in some way? And if it does, then yes, you need to make sure that your organization is prepared. I mean, very simply. And sometimes it's a matter, and at different organizations where I've been at the Blood Bank of Hawaii, where I was communication director, I read national, international medical news so that I would know what is happening at different places around the world. And if I saw something that I would think, that might happen here, then I would go to my boss, the president, and say, we need to think about this. So figure it out. If it doesn't have anything really directly related to you or your organization, keep it on the side here. Don't forget about it, but focus on things that really, really, really directly impact your organization in some way. But it's so tempting sometimes to go out and make a comment about something that happened somewhere. No, you as I had a boss one time was angry because the major newspaper said something not nice about my organization. And he said, I want you to call them and tell them I am not happy with what they said. I said, no, we don't do that. They are speaking to a global audience. Let's focus on our business. So, long answer to a very interesting and important question.
Oh, you are giving an amazing answer. Thank you so much. What was your most challenging leadership role and how did you overcome the challenges?
Let's see, which one? There's so many. Um, I think probably the most difficult one for me was at an organization. I'm not going to get into specifics on the organization, where we were having to deal with a court case. We were being sued by someone who said that we made a mistake that caused one of their family members to pass away. That's bad. What I had to determine was, A, have we fixed the issue in the beginning? And if we have we told the public that we have done that? And the first answer was yes, we fixed it, but we haven't really done it. So what I had to do was convince my president, convince my board of directors, and convince my coworkers that we have to start educating the public about what we are doing right today. But it took me a little while to persuade them because they really wanted it to go away and not have to worry about it anymore. Well, the thing was that we wound up, we did our education campaign, if you will. When we wound up going to court and settling our case, nothing. The news absolutely left us alone. They did not say anything about what they did or anything. So we succeeded, but it was an uphill challenge to get people to accept that, yeah, we have to talk about this.
Yes. Thank you so much for giving us amazing answer, especially how to overcome challenges because it is part of everyone's life.
You know, it's there every day there are going to be challenges. Accept that. Say, okay,
Yes.
fine. Now, am I prepared to deal with that challenge?
How important is mentorship in shaping a successful career?
Ooh, do you have 2 days I can talk about this? Mentors are amazing. When I started in when I left the Air Force and went to the Army as an intern, our supervisor came to me and he said, Kirk, you are older than our other interns. You have more experience. I am going to give you challenges and opportunities that the others won't get. And that was wonderful. So I went through the training just like everyone else did, and I got my first permanent job and as in charge of public relations for a large Army school. And I was sitting one day in my office going, oh my, do I know what I'm doing? Am I prepared for this? What am I going to? And my telephone rang. I answered the telephone. It was my mentor, my supervisor. I just wanted to call to see how you're doing. I immediately just let him. But that's what mentors are for. They're there for advice, for understanding, and to tell you if you're going down the wrong road, because sometimes you think you're going the right way. But mentors are very valuable. I tell students, choose your someone as a mentor who understands you and what your goal or aspirations are, because that individual will be able to guide you. And if sometimes you go maybe a little bit off the path there, they're going to say, no, come back here and go down this. But they're not there watching over your shoulder all the time. They're just there. And it is so comforting.
Yes. Thank you so much for this amazing answer. How do you stay motivated, sir, after decades of professional work?
I'm sorry, ask that one more time. How do
Yes.
I didn't quite catch the question.
How do you stay motivated after decades of professional work?
I stay motivated. And today I say thank you very much to Facebook and all the other social media platforms because I'm able to stay current with where my friends, former students, and others are posting their successes. And it makes me feel so good. The motivation is knowing that, yeah, maybe my advice, maybe it was just one small piece of what they did, but look where they are today because I was able to help them. It's good. Every day I see something from someone who's all excited about what he or she has done, and I say, that is it. That's why I'm here.
That's amazing. Sir, now please tell us, all of us, what does success means to you at this point of life?
Success for me is once again, it's seeing others doing well, succeeding in life, making choices based on experience and intelligence, not just on, oh, that sounds like something fun to do. It's it's the greatest reward you can have. It's wonderful.
Thank you. What legacy do you hope to leave behind in education and communication?
If I can do one thing, it's going to be this. Someone at some point is going to say, Kirk made a difference for us. That's it. Just I don't want pats on the back and praise and all that kind of stuff. But if someone would just say, yeah, you actually did a good job. Congratulations.
Who has been your greatest source of inspiration?
I, I would say my greatest source has been my wife, probably, is because I have seen her tackle challenges and opportunities and succeed, 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 succeed. And if she can do it, then I can do it. So yeah, it's wonderful. It's worked for 50 years now.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, please tell us, if you could give a global message to new future communicators in one sentence, would it be?
Very simply, listen, understand, and support. Period.
Thank you. That's an amazing advice. Lastly, how can our audience stay connected with you, sir, and continue learning from your work?
You know, love it when people do reach out to me. Um, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Blue Sky. um, if someone wishes to connect, tell me how you know me because I get requests from people and I go, I don't know this person, don't know anything about them. So give me just a little bit of an idea who you are and why you want to connect. Love to connect with people and offer advice when I can. Uh, and if I don't know it, I'll do my best to find someone who does have the answer.
Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take
I
care
really
of
appreciate
yourself. Yes.
it. Okay.
Any last advice you would like to give us to our audience, please, sir?
Very, very simply, enjoy life. That's all you need.
Thank you so much again for your precious time. Take care, sir. Be blessed.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.